Do you want to find out what CSS Masonry syntax might look like? Do you know what's new in the web platform and which CSS property might trigger Composite in which browser? Do you want to see the first ever CSS-only music video? If your answer to any of those questions is yes, then you're in the right place. Find out all of this and more in the next few minutes. This episode is sponsored by Product for Engineers. More on this fantastic newsletter in a bit. First up, we have Miriam Suzanne explaining the current state of the discussion around CSS Masonry layout. A while ago, Firefox released the first Masonry prototype. It's available behind an experimental flag, and Safari implemented its version as well, which is based on CSS Grid. You can see it working in Safari Technology Preview. I'm actually in the Safari Technology Preview, so this will work for me in this particular demo. You can see it right here. This works with the grid syntax. In this article, Miriam explains everything that you need to know around CSS Masonry proposal. The options that we have are display grid with grid template rows set to Masonry, or display Masonry with Masonry properties. My opinion, and I already shared this on social media, is that display Masonry might be a little bit easier for developers because from my experience, CSS Grid is quite complex and there are still a lot of people who shy away from using it or who shy away from learning it because it's so complicated. If you want to do it properly, if you want to dig into all the fraction units and various other properties that are available within CSS Grid. And now if we add Masonry to that complexity as well, this might push people even further back from exploring or learning about CSS Grid. I'm obviously biased here because I spent a lot of time teaching people how to write better CSS, but I guess that this is one of the points that we should take into consideration when we're trying to define CSS Masonry, and regardless of which proposal is selected, implemented by browsers, I will very happily create some guides on how to actually use it. And if you don't want to miss those guides, then, well, you know what to do. Next up, we have Rachel Andrew outlining features that were added to web platform in September. Stable browser releases we've gotten are Firefox 130, Safari 18, and Chrome 129. And here are outlined all features that are available within those browsers. The ones that I'm most excited about are at the top of the list: exclusive accordions with attributes for details element. This is now in the baseline. It's supported in Chrome, Edge, Firefox, and Safari. In my video on animating details and summary elements, I explain how this works. So if you still haven't checked it out, link is going to be on the screen. And next we have animate to auto functionality using calc-size function and interpolate-size property. I have two videos on both of those things, so check those out. I'm not going to go into details, but using interpolate-size or calc-size, you can animate it to hide auto with no hacks, no tricks, just one line of code and you're done. You can animate to hide auto. Hopefully Firefox and Safari will get on board soon. Edge is already supporting calc-size, and probably in the next version, interpolate-size should be supported. There are other features that are available. If you want to learn more about those, check this wonderful overview by Rachel Andrew. One thing that you might have noticed on WebDev website is that the scroll bars are really sticking out because I'm using dark theme and they are white. The problem is the site is not using color scheme property. Whenever you're creating a dark color theme, make sure to add color scheme property with the value dark on HTML, and all native elements, including scroll bars that are really sticking out here, will be painted in the dark mode exactly as they should be. I will show you how this works using the developer tools, but Safari Technology Preview apparently has a bug. If I set up color scheme right here on my HTML element, I'll just set it to dark. Elements are not updated and they're still painted in white. Color scheme works in Safari Technology Preview if you set it up before the page is loaded, but apparently if you change the value in developer tools, something weird like this happens. In any case, if you want to learn what's new in a web platform, and check out this article by Rachel Andrew. This week's sponsor is Product for Engineers newsletter by PostHog. If you want to improve your product skills, if you want to flex your product muscles, if you want to build better products, and you certainly do, you wouldn't be here otherwise, then this is a newsletter for you. The content of this newsletter is top quality. I can vouch for that because I'm a subscriber myself. And if you look at the headlines of some of the past issues, you'll see immediately what I'm talking about. How not to be boring, stand out or die trying. Well, if that's not an article that you want to read, then I don't know what is. Not only will you have fun reading those articles, but you will actually learn something that will make you a better engineer. Thanks so much to PostHog for sponsoring. Next, we have Florian Schroef explaining how to create accessible accordion components. Florian goes into details about everything that you need to know to make it accessible, from making sure that keyword navigation works as expected, to setting up ARIA attributes and more. If you ever created an accordion component, if you ever will create an accordion component, and I'm positive that you will, then this is the article that you should check out so you know how to make it as accessible as possible. Next, we have CSS Triggers. Do you know which browsers trigger Layout, Paint, or Composite in which browser? This is exactly the project that will help you understand this and improve your performance. This version of the project is created by Andrew Carolla and is based on the previous original CSS Triggers website by Paul Lewis and Surma. If you want to know which properties trigger what in which browser, then this is the site you should check. And on one hand, you can click on any of those properties and get a little bit more insight into why a certain property might trigger, well, Paint, Layout, or Composite. Lastly, we have CSS Music Video by Ben Evans. Ben's work is absolutely incredible, stunning. He creates a ton of fantastic CSS art. You should be following him. If you're not, correct that mistake immediately. And in this project, he actually created music video with pure CSS. There are no images whatsoever in this video, and the video is really stunning. I'm not gonna hit play here. I want you to try it out and see for yourself. It's really stunning, and you definitely won't be sorry if you check it out. Listen to the video, look at the graphics, and be inspired by what's possible using only CSS. This week, I have a small challenge for you. I want you to add thumbs up emoji to the comments below, because I'm really curious to see how many people actually gotten to the end of this particular news series. Thank you so much for your attention. My name is Zoran Jambor. I will see and hear you in a different CSS music video, or rather in the next tutorial, guide, or news video that you can find on this particular channel. And you should be subscribed to CSS Weekly YouTube channel. You are, aren't you? All right. Thanks so much. Bye.